Welcome to SoundPox, a podcast about toxic noise in our culture. The first episode takes a deep dive into one of my all-time junk noise offenders, the leaf blower. Two years ago, I wrote an email to my HOA board. It started like this. For seemingly the umpteenth time this spring alone, a lovely peaceful morning on the back patio is disrupted by the tinny, droning whine of a leaf blower. As the drone gets closer and louder, I finally flee inside and shut the doors and windows to muffle the sound and preserve some decent air quality. I went on to say that this is galling for several reasons. First, leaf blowing is pointless, even where its intended purpose is concerned. All it does is blow debris from one location to an adjacent one, say from a sidewalk onto the ground next to the sidewalk. Whatever value we get from that is oh so temporary, particularly in an environment like ours, where the tree canopy ensures a constant stream of falling needles and other organic matter. And since the blown debris is rarely if ever raked into piles and discarded properly, the next big wind blows it right back where it was, and elsewhere. So we endure and pay for, through our HOA fees, this insufferable audio assault for arguably no actual benefit. That's what I told them. Anyway, after a recent leaf blower drubbing by our landscaping crew, I ran into a neighbor and had an exchange that went something like this. Did you know that gas-powered leaf blowers can expose users to greater than 100 decibels at close range, the equivalent to a jackhammer or a jet taking off?
Are you serious? As loud as a jet at takeoff? I already live underneath the flight path, so I guess I'm getting a twofer.
That's well above the level at which chronic noise exposure leads to irreparable hearing loss. What's more, even though we tend to consciously notice the high-end, tinny sound from leaf blowers, their low-frequency sound travels long distances and can penetrate walls and windows.
Phoo! Fucking hate that.
In addition to damaging hearing, noise affects quality of life by impairing communication and learning, reducing one's ability to accurately complete complex tasks, and increasing stress.
To be honest, that's perversely reassuring. It's good to know that Trump's not the only reason for my emotional and cognitive dysfunction.
If you think it's harmful to you, think about this for a minute. High-intensity leaf blower noise is particularly harmful to the developing ears of infants and young children. Studies have also shown that exposure to excessive noise during pregnancy is associated with preterm birth and high-frequency hearing loss in the child.
So maybe that explains why the listening part of communication is so underdeveloped and neglected these days?
My hatred of leaf blowers actually goes way back. When I was in high school, we moved to Miami, and I could hardly believe the widespread usage down there of a machine that sounded and reeked like it belonged in a motocross event outside of town, not in the yard immediately next door at 8:30 in the morning, or in our school grounds. I remember thinking there's a reason the people running those god-awful things are wearing ear mufflers. Even to my unsophisticated sensibility at the time, those crude, fume-spewing two-stroke engines struck me as more suitable to a carnival or a Deep South drag strip than to an otherwise sedate suburban neighborhood. You have any thoughts about the use of leaf blowers in your neighborhood or on your property, really related to the noise or any other effects?
Well, I know they're useful, but I find them rather noisy. We have neighbors either side who have them used by their gardeners, and my husband actually uses one sometimes.
Oh, you guys have one?
Yeah, he's got one apparently. He didn't ask me if I wanted it, but it's a battery one at least.
Yeah, that's actually, I should have specified that particularly gas powered leaf blowers are what I was talking about as most potentially bothersome, and perhaps their cardiopulmonary effects are much worse than the electric ones.
I mean, I would imagine the neighbors' ones that are operated by their gardeners probably are gas, but I don't really know for sure. They do seem really noisy, and I've noticed when he was blowing the other day under the hedges between us, there was just all this dirt and debris and stuff blowing up. So I have to make sure that I shut the windows when they're over there.
Aside from the noise bother, what do you find dangerous about it?
Well, for one, if they're gas powered, the pollution of that. And then if the debris is all blowing around, you're going to be inhaling that too.
Yeah, there's a reason why the people that run them always wear earmuffs, and some of them wear masks.
Yeah, I've never noticed the neighbors' gardeners wear the ear things, but I've never noticed them with masks on.
I've done a little bit of research on it, and apparently people that run leaf blowers, gas-powered ones for a living, do exhibit higher rates of pulmonary disease and so on. Anyway, would you favor a ban on leaf blowers as gas-powered leaf blowers in this area?
Yeah, I think definitely the gas-powered ones, because to me they're more of a problem than, say, the battery ones, even though the noise is similar. But yeah, I think I would favor the ban on those.
This woman, by the way, lives in a lush residential neighborhood in Vancouver, Washington. Her husband, who had just been out doing yard work, came in next, and we had the following conversation. Lori, your wife, just told me that you've got a leaf blower. She thought that maybe it was just a kind of a leaf debris vacuum cleaner.
We have both the blower and the sucker. They both operate off batteries, and they're very successful.
Do you wear headset or ear mufflers with them?
You have to, yeah, unless you want to go deaf at some point into the near future. Although they're battery and they're lower noise output than gas, they still output noise no matter what.
Do you think the standards for what comprised a well-cared-for lawn have changed in the advent of the leaf blower age?
It's still the same care package. It's just like you're holding a microphone connected to an iPhone. We just progress with technology to make labor easier and less intensive.
But my thought is that perhaps people didn't think that their lawns needed to look like the fairway of a golf club back in the old days.
Well, climate was a lot different in the old days, so especially in countries like the UK where I was brought up, there were prolonged rain seasons, and even the summer, you wouldn't get anywhere near the same heat range you get today. Therefore, lawns are more water intensive altogether, whereas they're quite easy to maintain in the past, even though being labor intensive. Obviously, we got leaves up with rakes. Nothing wrong with that, just labor intensive and takes a long time. Then you need the modern technology to help you back afterwards.
You know that a lot of localities, most recently that I've heard of, Portland, have banned leaf blowers within their city limits. It has not taken effect yet in Portland, but it's supposed to sometime, maybe by 2026.
I suppose the real question would be into the future is that a lot of gardens are now going to rock and bark dust. They actually call it in Portland the Portland Garden, where now we're saying grass gardens are unsustainable. Watering them is non-sustainable into the future. So I think outside of the stately homes of England and Donald Trump's grass golf courses, you may find that a lot of gardens are turning over to the more urban landscape of rockery and bushes and bark dust.
That was David and Laura Hughes of Vancouver, Washington, by the way. A couple of David's comments I think merit a response. First, he mentioned that leaf blowers are the same care package as raking, just using technology that reduces the maintenance overhead. But does it really? It may reduce the time one spends on cleaning up a lawn, but the evidence shows a lot more stress and risk to the body of the operator, not to mention the collateral health damage to people nearby. He goes on to say, we just progress with technology to make labor easier and less intensive. Well, if less intensive for the person running the leaf blower, certainly far more invasive for everyone else. He also suggests that climate change has made lawn and garden care more demanding and in need of irrigation. This is vaguely cited as a reason for the proliferation of leaf blowers, or at least a rationale for them. But how do hotter, drier conditions lead to more debris cleanup? If anything, leaving lawn clippings in place acts as a mulch and fertilizer and should help preserve moisture in the yard and garden. In fact, leaf blowing leaves a grass yard more exposed and therefore more vulnerable to drought and other damage. That about wraps up episode 1 of SoundPox. This has been the leaf blowing episode. Through SoundPox, I urge folks to think critically about all the excessive, annoying, and toxic noise we are routinely exposed to in modern daily life. Until a phenomenon is questioned and then identified as a problem, it remains a murky background irritant that we have zero control over. I aim to raise unwarranted human-generated noise to the level of conscious awareness as the first step in alleviating this problem. Episode 2 of SoundPox will focus on the menace of ever-growing airline noise all around Puget Sound. You can find SoundPox episodes and my other content at youtube.com/@RichardHoward9648. See you there.